Hi, this is Dr. Cooper, and this is the Week 3 weekly podcast for the ENH295 Ban Books and Censorship class. So let's get started. Now, I know a lot of you have been busy already reading Annie on My Mind, and it's a teenage love story, so to speak, with lots of conflict, as some of you have pointed out. Great job on your journals, by the way. Let's go ahead and start with that. I will be grading your journals, the first journal post that you posted to, what's it called again? Posterous. I hope you're liking Posterous. And I will give you some feedback on those journals. Now, I won't leave the feedback on the journal itself. You'll see the feedback in Canvas for that journal assignment. Obviously, you'll have to go back and see what you wrote to see what I'm talking about when I refer to this specific things. But the way it works is on these first two journals, Journal 2 and Journal 3, the one you'll be working on this week, I'm going to give you a chance to rewrite those journals if they're not up to par, if they're not meeting the standards that I want for them to meet. Now keep in mind that this is a 200 level class, so ENH 295. So I'm expecting that you've already had English 101 and possibly even English 102, CRE 101, and there's a different higher level of thinking and writing that I'm looking for in this course. So don't just look at this as just a journal post. Oh, she just wants us to write a journal post. These are really mini essays. And I can remember in my studies as a lit major in school that I had to write a page for whatever we were reading each week, and we had to type it up and show up in class. And I'm old, so typing it up was a pain in the butt. But we had to show up at the class with our typed one page, and it had to be exactly one page, and if it was short or longer, we would get marked off for it. I'm not that critical, but I am looking for some basic writing strategies, meaning I want to see a clear thesis that identifies the tool, the book, the key elements so that anyone reading that post will understand what it is that you are writing about. And then obviously I want to see the follow-through. When you say that you're going to write about X, Y, and Z, then in the body of that I want to see it. So it could be one long paragraph. It's 300 words, but as you've noticed, 300 words can be quite a bit. But if you're reading the book and you understand literary terms, it shouldn't be that challenging for you, especially once you get the hang of it. So the key thing to remember is that once you've used a rhetorical term, you cannot go back and use that term again. So even though we will be reading other things throughout the rest of the semester, you can't use characterization again if you've already used it, or conflict if you've already used it. Now don't worry, I know we have 16 weeks and it looks like we have 16 journals, which we do, but they're not all literary analysis journals. Some of them are just different things you'll see later. But anyway, good job on those journals, and if you haven't submitted your journal yet, just remember that you can still submit it late. It's 10% off for each day it's late, up to a week, and then it's worth nothing after that week. So you don't have to submit it, and that'll be a 0 for 30 points. So keep in mind that this is a big chunk of your grade in this course, discussing and writing your journals. And then of course we have those two projects. One's a group, one's a solo project that'll play a key part in your grade. But if you really want to do well, this is how you do it, working on these journals. All right, so Wednesday is my goal date to get those first journals graded back to you. Thursday at the latest. Okay, and then once I give them back, you will then have to the end of the week to rewrite them. So if you are one of those weekend warriors, like I keep preaching to my other online students, you need to pop in and pay attention to what's going on in the class a couple times a week, because you don't want to wait until Sunday to realize that you didn't get 100% on your journal, and now it's almost too late to rewrite it. Okay? All right, so let's talk about what's going on in week 3. So we are continuing to read Annie on My Mind. This is the second week, and you should be finishing it up this week. It's a teen novel, so most of you, I'm sure, have read that and have finished it in a couple of days, if not a couple of hours. What I want to do this week is I've opened up 2 discussion forums, and I want to talk about these 2 topics. The first one is censorship is not alive and well and living in Kansas. And it's a discussion, an article about the court case that took place concerning the book Annie on My Mind that we're reading. And I want for you to read about that court case and read the article about censorship in Kansas. And let's have a discussion about how censoring these types of books influences not just students, but families and people and schools, all types of people who are affected by the decisions that a small group of others might make. So let's talk about that. Also, I want to talk about how not just bullying of LGBT students, but bullying of all students, and how that affects students and their opportunity to get a good education. So the second discussion will be around the It Gets Better project. And I know the focus of the project is about LGBT students, but we all know that they're not the only students that get bullied in school. And this has become a very popular topic in our country as of late. So let's talk about that. And what do you think about, the idea that, a school can decide to ban a book, and then all of those students that book might apply to feel like, oh, there's something wrong with them that they would want to read a book like that. So let's talk a little bit about that and how we can make a change if we choose to. Okay, keep in mind the rubric for the discussion. Now, the discussions are both listed as 25 points each. You only have to participate fully in one. Okay, you can participate in both if you choose to, but you only have to participate fully in one. And then when I do the grading, you will get credit, 25 points for both, if you've completed fully in one or both. That's the only way I could do it to give you the choice. Okay? So just keep that in mind, that it is worth 50 points and not 25 points. You don't have to participate in both, although I think both could be lively discussions. All right, I've listed some more literary terms for you to learn this week. I listed a couple of videos. We're going to talk about, in the video, irony. I like this video. There's some information about, symbolism, foreshadowing, flashback, atmosphere, and plot twist that you can learn about in the second video. Okay, so for your own, you can focus on conflict, foreshadowing, irony, symbolism to learn this week. And if you already are familiar with those terms, go ahead and choose one to write your journal on, or you can choose any of the terms. You don't have to follow the ones that we are focusing on in any particular week. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this week. Now, later in the week, I'm going to open up a poll where you're going to choose the second book, the second Nancy Garden book that you're going to read. Now, we don't start reading those books until the fourth week, week 4 and 5, but week 3 is sort of a transition. We're still talking about Annie on My Mind, but then we're sort of jostling and getting things set up to start reading the second book. So we will discuss in groups of 4, so only 4 people can choose any one of the 5 books that are available from Nancy Garden. And the 4 of you will develop your own group and have your own discussion for the third discussion in this module. Okay? Now, you're all welcome to read more than one book. As you know, they're all teen novels, so they shouldn't take you long to read them. And if you want to read more than one and participate in more than one group, that's fine as well. Okay, if you have any questions about journals, about discussions, or anything that's going on right now, let me know. All right, talk to you all soon.